Good morning, chat. What's up, dudes? Oh, man. Hopefully Spotify radio helps us out here. I don't have a lot of music choices. Yeah, this will work. What's up, Prism? What's up, dudes? I'm sure at some point we'll talk, but I'm gonna let the roleplay do the roleplay thing for a minute. Oh, man. I'm just taking a minute, letting it soak in. I think now's a good time to kind of talk and say hi. I hope everyone's doing amazing and doing well. What's good, dudes? I cannot thank you all enough for all of the incredible roleplay and just the support for the roleplay. I've had such a good time with it. And I left you guys off with a little bit of a cliffhanger last night. I say a little bit, but I will say the music choice, Prism, I see that you mentioned the music choice. I think if you were to listen to the music that I ended with, I will tell you that there is I won't say what, but there is an overbearing reason I chose that song. I'm sure people have questions. I'll say what I'm willing to say, but I also want to keep a lot of it with the authenticity. Also, Sackmaster continuing their gifted sub they got. Thank you, Sack. I appreciate it. It was Last Resort reimagined by Falling in Reverse. Pretty sure someone else may have used that song at one point, but yo, Sailor, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate you. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Flop. Ugh. I'm getting chills. Flop had his conversation. The song I want. This song sounds like it might be fitting. We'll see. A ruse around. Damn, do I want to say what I want to say, or do I just want to wait? Fucking announcements. I'm gonna wait. She's on the phone. Unless it's just my phone fucking up. I will say this much. Last night was, so to give you some context, if you missed stream yesterday, I was going to say if you missed last night, but if you missed stream at all yesterday, just know that you need to go back and see it to kind of understand what's going on. Flop was very reassured by two people yesterday, Finn and Balto, about a lot of things going on. And it gave Flop a new perspective that he never saw it as. With that being said, Flop is going to make his promise to Etta. And speak with everybody. However, Flop has sort of come to terms with accepting how he feels. And I think that's all I want to say about that. I'm going to say this. Flop has already concluded. Couldn't make that up if I tried.
Hello?
Hey. How you doing? How you feeling?
Not good.
Where you at?
Up in Pleader. I was gonna make my way down into the city.
How's your head feeling?
Still hurts.
Should you be driving right now? Do you think you can drive?
I drove early today. I think I'm okay. Apparently I hit my head. That's what I got told.
You got told what?
That I'd hit my head. I also think I did something really fucking dumb.
I mean, I'd predicate that jumping off the rocks was dumb, but I can move past that. What'd you do? I promise you, I will not be upset. I just want to make sure that you're good.
I'm upset with myself over it. Yesterday was pretty fucking foggy, but I do remember at least I remember not being able to get out of my room and starting to freak out. And I
You want to meet?
I had yeah.
I'll meet you somewhere. Whereabouts are you right now? I'm in Ziggy's
I'm
car.
driving up a fucking mountain right now.
Like top of like Mount Chiliad?
Yeah. And come down.
You
Not
want
that far up the hill anyway.
I was gonna say, do you want me to meet you on the top of Chiliad? Got a nice view.
Yeah, I can meet up there.
You think you can make it up safely?
I should be able to.
Okay. I'm not far out. I'll start making my way.
Are you okay?
Um, no. But what I have going on is not urgent and can wait. I want to make sure that you're good first. And then I'll kind of fill you in as to what's going on.
Okay.
So, I'll meet you at the top of Chiliad. Again, I'm in Ziggy's car. I left my Granger at the station, I think, if I recall. So,
I'm good. I'll see you up the top then.
yep, sounds good. I'll see you soon.
Alright, bye.
Bye-bye. Oof. I think today is going to be another very heavy roleplay day. Straight into it? Oh, yeah. No, today, most definitely. Can I say something real quick that I thought was really cool? Because I think it ties into sort of the roleplay and how I feel about RP. Did anybody see the clip from S-Fan today? It was actually really cool that he mentioned it and brought it up. Nice clip. I mean, we had a long conversation about it, and I told him, I said, you know, that's really like what this is all about. What was it? I'm gonna play the clip real quick, and then we can jump into roleplay. I just thought it was really sweet and really cool. He definitely didn't have to bring that up, but I thought it was really nice of him to bring up the conversation. He remembered that.
I had this conversation with a friend of mine, ChrisTombstone. He plays Flop on NoPixel, Flop Dugong. So we're saying one of the best things you can do whenever you're creating your first character to like learning how to roleplay is by creating a character who is as much like just perpendicular to your character like as a person in real life. So like basically the complete opposite of yourself. Because if you play somebody that is very different from yourself, it allows you to do these things where you can, like Bosch said, don't care about not winning or losing, and you can yes and people because it helps like the pretense of, hey, I'm playing a character. This is not me. This is not who I am. So it helps to disconnect a little bit. And
But yeah, he gave a little shout, which I thought was really sweet and cool. I thought that was nice of him. I think now's a good time to tell you that I play a self-insert, so I take everything to heart. But you know, yeah, that's that is. I thought that was cool. I wasn't expecting that, but that was a very like real thing that I bring up all the time. I tell people like, you know, the best thing you can do in roleplay is to play somebody who is completely so like opposed to who you are. Because it gives you more opportunity to give and do things and enjoy yourself, and the other people around you also see that energy and will build off of that, and you don't have to feel any personal repercussion to something happening. So, but what's up, Daisy? How was your birthday? Be sure to wish Daisy a happy birthday, chat. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. I also thought it was a good time to what do you call it? I thought that clip is fitting for everything going on right now. But, you know. Where's Rue? What do I feel like Rue fell? Hey, Grace, happy birthday to you as well. Hope the birthday's been amazing. Call Rue.
I had a bit of a mishap getting up. I'm on the way up there.
As long as you're still alive, we're good. I just...
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Do you know how to get on, like, the top of the roof?
Which roof?
When you come to the very top, like, on top of the ski lift roof?
Oh, yeah. I know how to
Okay.
get up there.
All right. I'll be up there.
All right, I'm not far off now. I'll see you in a sec.
You're all good. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Yeah. Well,
There you go. They're a little warm, but they're still good.
thank you.
Mm-hmm. You thirsty at all?
Yeah, I'm really thirsty, actually.
I only got one. I'm also thirsty.
Oh. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I also gave you a few sandwiches, so. So what's going on?
Um. I'm pretty sure last night at least I had one drink. As I told you on the phone, I remember freaking out in my room, not being able to leave.
Like alcohol?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot?
I don't know. I don't know how many bottles I had.
Okay. You mind if I ask where you got it?
I had picked it up. I don't know if it was before or after Hank and I had a big conversation and I'd ran into Mickey. Just didn't get rid of it, I don't think.
Okay. And how are you doing now? Besides what you told me already, which is guilty.
I'm doing okay.
It's good that you're aware of the drinking. I think in this case, you shouldn't beat yourself up over it. I had another conversation I had to tend to, and I had asked a couple people, Tilly and Hank, to look after you because when you got out of the hospital bed, um, you were a little delirious. You're kind of looking around a lot, running around. So I knew that you weren't in the right
Mm.
headspace. And I don't think you should feel full guilt as if you resorted to alcohol in a position where you felt mentally stable because you had just hit your head. You were unconscious. You were still recovering. It doesn't make it right, but it also doesn't mean that you should feel guilty for it. I think if anything, you should be aware, and you are. The reason I said no to driving was because I didn't think that you were going to be able to make a conscious decision behind the wheel to follow traffic laws. And based on your mental state, I didn't think that you were going to be able to get home safely if you drove yourself. And it sounds like if what you're telling me is true, you feel guilty for doing it. But correct me if I'm wrong. Were you still a little out of it when it happened?
The memory's pretty foggy, so I'm guessing so.
Hmm.
Remember putting up a bunch of drawings around the room. And I mean a lot.
Good ones or bad ones? I'd imagine based on everything, maybe you were drawing things out that meant what to you?
There's only one I wanted to keep out of every single one of them. I'm pretty sure most of them were the things I'd draw when I was in prison. For treason.
Do you think there was a reason why you resorted to those drawings?
I was locked in my room and I didn't know why.
Did it bring you back to when you were in prison, you think? You know, I've never asked you anything about Sanguine or the war or any of that. I know your stance on it. I know why you went. I know what you did. I never asked about the aftermath, but I'd imagine prison was not for you.
No. I hate going back there. Every time I go back to prison, I end up just staring at that wall I used to draw on every day. The other day when you went to visit me, the only thing that snapped me out staring at that wall was hearing you yell over the megaphone. I wasn't able to get around the prison, my leg was shattered. Initially, they weren't going to give me a wheelchair or anything to get around. I had a really shoddy operation on my leg to try and piece it back together. So you'd get people coming into the prison. I had people beat me up. Just because they could. Treat like shit day in, day out. On top of trying to deal with all the shit I saw on that island and went through. Had to get a second surgery when I was out of prison to actually get my leg put together properly. Otherwise I would have had a permanent limp. I hate being locked up.
I'm not a therapist, and I'm not going to pretend to be. But it sounds to me like when you hit your head, you were confused why you said in your room or inside somewhere. Okay. And it brought you back to a traumatic time. And it sounds like not knowing why you were in your room, you tried to cope in some way to calm yourself down. And that's by drawing. And I would have to imagine you didn't have water with you. So it sounds like you resorted to that whether you realize why you did or not. You should not feel guilty for that. As long as you are aware that you did it and know better than to do what you did, you continue to stay aware, you should not feel bad. And I am not upset with you for that. If anything, I feel bad that I couldn't come back to check in on you, and I left you with a toddler to look after, which was unfair for me.
I think you're to blame it all though.
What's that?
I don't think it's fair to put any of this blame onto you for it.
No. I'm saying a toddler isn't Hank. I know Tilly did her best. And I won't ever blame her for what happened. I I'm sorry that I couldn't come back.
Okay.
Is there anything that I can get you now that will help with your guilt or whatever you're feeling right now?
Okay, I think time will help. I think what kind of bothers me the most about it at the moment is the panic I felt while locked up in there.
Have you ever felt guilty or scared to be in the house ever?
That was the first time. I just couldn't understand why I was locked in there. As I said before, I really hate being locked up. Like, even when Dundee locked me in that cage, I was, yeah. Automatically a panic sets in. Every time I go to prison, that panic fucking sets in again. Even though I know I'm not going to be in for years, it's still like overwhelming. It just doesn't go away.
I think it's okay to fear the things that you have to face. Fear is a very interesting thing. And what I mean by that is that fear builds character. You will never know why you feel the way that you do, but something will trigger and bring you back to a time that made you maybe uncomfortable, scared, whatever the emotion may be, right? And every time you go in, or every time you feel that way, you will find some way mentally to come to terms with your situation.
Hmm.
And whether, again, you know it or not, you will find ways to learn to accept those feelings, and you will learn to be better than those feelings. And I am currently going through said similar feelings.
How so?
I told you how I felt about what happened with thou that shall go unnamed.
Hmm.
And I blame myself for what happened.
Wait, what? Why?
I felt like if it was one of you or Ziggy, to ever be in that situation, to think that the first time I'd have to see you was in critical condition in a bed. In the way that I had to see this person, I felt like I would have failed as a father and or a husband to not have been there when you most needed somebody. I think the reason I felt the way that I did was because it was so close to home. It settled as a reality to me that there's always that possibility. And between finding you both in the hospital and then 72 hours later finding said person in the hospital, I was scared, stressed, confused, angry. And I projected the blame on myself because I didn't know how else to come to terms if I was ever to be in that situation again. And it scared me.
I can tell you with confidence I won't ever be in her position. Under that kind of circumstance.
I can only hope. And we'll hold you to that. Um, I got an Uber home last night after a long conversation with Etta.
Hmm.
And there are people in the family who are concerned and scared and fearful and nervous.
What about?
Things that I've discussed with you about and I've discussed with Ziggy. And I hate to say it, but some of, not all, but some of the concerns I think were valid. Um, One of the concerns being that the level of involvement that either you or Ziggy get into, and the thought of having to avoid family because of a warrant, because of whatever, um, is hard for people to grasp. And beyond that, the overlooming fear that we were to ever be in each other's sights, or you were to ever be in Sean's sight, or Sean was to be in your sight, and someone was forced to pull the trigger, scares Etta tremendously. And I won't lie, it scares me too. Um, and Etta made I asked her what would have to be done for her to be more comfortable with the situation. And she wondered if there was a way for both of you to essentially not be involved in violent activity. And I told her that I don't think that that is a real possibility. But I promised her that I would at least talk to you about it and talk to Ziggy and let her know. Now,
Violent? In what capacity?
uh, shootouts with, I'm going to say, the police. I will tell you personally, I don't see that being a reality. And I want you to know that the roof over your head is not in question. I wanted you and the family for who you are, not what you are. And if it came down to no disagreement within the family, I would pick you and Ziggy if I had to.
I don't want it to get to that point. When it comes to the shootouts, I'll be entirely honest with you. Since moving back here, I have not shot a single officer. Even back when I was in BBMC, I never made the call to shoot at officers. Not once. Yes, I was part of those shootouts at times. But that's never a call that I'd personally want to make. On top of that, I don't think I've even heard, I think maybe once. I don't think at all. I don't think I've heard of any real times the club has shot at officers on a job. It's few and far between. Very few and far between. And if there is a job where that does happen, unfortunately, it's not something that goes in, like, that's pre-planned going into that.
Mhm.
It's not like we're gonna, like, leave the house one day and be like, you know what? We're gonna set up and fuck up some offices. No. It's never the case.
I know.
It's only absolutely dire if that happens.
I had a really nice conversation yesterday with Finley prior to the conversation with Etta,
Mm-hmm.
and Finley gave me a perspective on everything that was comforting and a different approach to how I initially viewed things. And I had a very nice conversation with Balto, unironically in this exact spot. And he also put things into perspective for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust that you guys would make the right call if it came down to it. And unfortunately, outside of you, um, Ziggy, unfortunately, this is something that I wholeheartedly agree with Etta about. Uh, Very prior to you being at the house, there was a family conversation that happened where Ziggy promised that he would never escalate any further than being the club's therapist. And I can't disregard that I 100% agree with Etta that her fear and scare and concern with where Ziggy is at now 100% went against the conversation we had months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And respectfully, it's not my story to tell. And that is something that Ziggy is going to need to speak with the family about, and is going to need to have a very firm understanding that, unfortunately, as much as I will always love and support him, as much as I will always love and support you, that I also can't be okay with it, uh, based on what he told the family. And I reassured Etta that I do agree that Ziggy kind of went against a word that he promised everybody on the roof of the house. Between you and I, not that I want to keep secrets in any of this, but this is not my first rodeo. I knew it would get to this point at some point. There is literally no way that I saw that being avoidable. But mind you, Etta worked in city council. She's worked very legal jobs. She doesn't see the side of life. She only gets to hear about it. And sure, she's done some smaller, very smaller, you know, criminal things. Nothing that was super bad, but she had her moments, and I have to respect and understand why she feels the way that she does. Because she doesn't see the vision, but she hears it from Matt. She hears it from Richard. She hears it from me. She hears it from Sean. And I think her concern with the 180 from Ziggy is valid. So I do think it is a little important that he has an actual sit down and can reassure members of the family his position.